We've got questions from viewers, several of them not surprisingly centered around healthcare. And so we have one viewer who's very convinced that the way to go would be some form of single payer, another a viewer who notes the issues that surround the Affordable Care Act, others who are not enthusiastic about the replacements that have been offered by Republicans. So let me just ask the question generally rather than sort of going down any one of those particular avenues. Where would you like to see the discussion on health care go, and what advice would you offer if anybody were asking for you for advice?
Well, I voted against the Affordable Care Act. And one of 3 Democrats that are still in Congress that voted against it, and there were 39 at the time. I didn't believe it would work. There were things in there were good, parts of it that needed to get done, pre-existing conditions, those kinds of things needed to get done, but there were just too much government, too much telling everybody what they had to do, and the whole predicate was that people had to do what they were told in order to make it work, and I just didn't think people were going to do that, and I was right. And so the problem is, well, we did this without any Republican votes. So when it got screwed up, the Republicans, they didn't want to do anything to fix it. All they did was campaign to get rid of it, to repeal it. So I got beat up over election after election, that I should vote to repeal the Affordable Care Act, which I refused to do because a good part of it actually was good. And I didn't think it'd ever get done again if we took it out of there. So in my advice, now the Republicans are doing they're making the same mistake that the Democrats made. They're trying to do a bill without anybody in the other party. And whenever you do something this big, this is almost 20% of the economy, you can't do it with just one party. It's not sustainable. And that was a mistake we made, and it's a mistake they will make if they do this. It has to be bipartisan. You have to get both parties to buy into this, to be able to be willing to fix it, because there's going to be things that are screwed up, but that's not happening. So my advice at this point is this. We had a pretty good system in Minnesota before this all happened. Because Dayton and the state decided to take the Medicaid expansion, which was good, and take the money that went with it, they had to give up MCHA and the rest of the system that we had in Minnesota. And that's what got the individual markets screwed up and got these huge increases in premiums. So I have said, and I told the White House this a week ago, I said, if you'll give Minnesota a waiver to go back to what we had in Minnesota before this all started, and that means leave the Medicaid expansion in place, but give us a waiver to go back in and do a high-risk pool, to have Minnesota Care with a sliding scale and all that kind of stuff. I said, I'll vote for the bill if you do that. Because I think that's the only way that I have any confidence that the people in Minnesota are going to get this fixed. Because I don't think the federal government is going to fix this. And, I don't know how much you've worked on health care, but going back to Dave Nurenberger, who we had talked about earlier, back when he was in the Senate, when they made the changes back then in health care, we got locked into low reimbursement because we had HMOs and we were holding down cost. And so we got locked into these low reimbursements, and we've been there ever since. So we almost need to do something separate from the rest of the country. So I've talked to Jason Lewis, I've talked to Walz, I've talked to Senator Klobuchar about the possibility of doing something like this, and we've had some discussions with some of the legislators because they would have to be willing to do this. It would have to be kind of a team effort on everybody's part. Whether that'll ever come to fruition, who knows. But I just don't have a lot of confidence. And this bill that the Republicans are putting forward, what's in there so far, it's worse than what we have. and this is a place, the one time I agree with the Freedom Caucus, because what they said was, this is Obamacare light. And they're right, because it keeps the subsidies, it keeps the Medicaid expansion, and it just does less of everything, and it block grants Medicaid at the end of the 2020. So it doesn't take the structure of Obamacare away, and that's why they're against it. So I just think the way this thing is heading, I don't have a lot of confidence that this is going to get fixed. And I had a healthcare town meeting on Monday night. I had a pretty good sized crowd there. I didn't have one single person come in to defend the Republican bill. And most people wanted Medicare for all or something of that nature.
You were in the Minnesota Senate, as I recall, for about 10 years,
Right.
and so you would have been there during the years that some of these programs, I think they occurred during the Carlson and Perpich and Carlson years.
Yeah, I think they came along after I left. I left in '86. And at the time, I wasn't on those committees. I remember Linda Berglund was heavily involved in it, and she was mostly working on Medicaid at the time. But I don't believe Minnesota Care existed, at the time.
Yeah, that might have been 1990
Yeah,
or
I think it was
thereabouts.
90, yeah. So, and it costs money, And I'll just say for the Republicans, they are now, trying to resurrect this bill. And they're going to put in a high-risk pool, which is a good idea. That's good. That's moving it in the right direction. This needs to be done, or you're not going to be able to make that individual market work. Problem is, they've only put $15 billion in there to pay for it. And I don't think that's anywhere near what it's going to cost to do that. So as I say, I think we did a good job here in Minnesota. We had, most people were insured before this all happened, and we went from, I guess, 8% down to 5 or something, but it wasn't worth all the other pain that was caused, So I'd like to see us, my big issue with what I really want to get done in healthcare is take care of these folks in the individual market. They're the ones that got clobbered. The small business people, the farmers, the people that work by themselves, they don't have any place to go. If you're on Medicaid, you're in pretty good shape. If you're on Medicare, you're in pretty good shape. If you got an employer that's paying for your insurance, you maybe aren't happy with what's offered, but it's not it's not out of control. It's that place in the middle there that needs to get fixed. And I haven't seen either party do anything to come with a solution to fix that. And I think Minnesota, we could do it better than the federal government.